If you were to ask me, can someone be a hero even if they got even if they got some new sort of powers, or without a power? I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would say nothing because there would be nothing to say. My situation, my problem would have been nothing to say because I was in my own type of world. What could I say when you're just a quirkless 15-year-old? But until something happens, all it takes sometimes is a small little spider bite. That's what it took me. It's all it took for me. Just one little spider bite. Then my life changed more than I thought. I had power. But one thing that always came hard for me was responsibility. Izuku Midoriya, a boy who was just diagnosed as quirkless. The boy be watching his All Might. As usual, there was nothing different. Everything just felt the same. Izuku will be watching All Might, seeing how the man's first entrance in Japan. Izuku was just let the tears fall. Today was the worst day of his life. It's true, worst. What is worse than having your dream being completely torn down? He would hear the door open, turning his head slowly, seeing his mother. Izuku was slowly pointing towards the screen, pointing at it, says, Can I be a hero too? Just like All Might? Now, usually, Inka Midoriya would console her child. That's what she would have done in the original timeline, but instead, she did something different. She walked up to him instead, turned him around, turned off the computer completely, and said, No, you can't be a hero. Without a quirk, you'll die. Give up on your dream, Izuku. It's impossible. You're basically dead weight. This world won't even accept who you are. So you best find something else to do with your life. Izuku was surprised to hear this from his own mother. Her harsh words, they hurt more than he thought. He thought that she'll console him like a mother would do. But she did the exact opposite. She did what the doctor did, but worse, to his face. She bent down towards him and simply said, In this world, some people are just given special abilities because they're meant to be. And you're just not meant to have one. I guess you'll just be a nobody. But in my eyes, you're not. You're fine the way you are. You don't need a quirk. You don't need to be a hero. You're just gonna be a quirkless nobody. A deku. Izuku heard the name as only anger was feeling in his heart. A deku. That's it. His mother called him a deku. As she would pick him up gently, as placing him back in his bed. I don't want to hear anything more about heroes. All this will be taken down by tomorrow. Tomorrow morning was telling all this All Might stuff. I don't want to hear anything more about pro heroes or anything else. As she'll close the door gently. I'm sorry. This is for the best for you. Izuku would only feel rage. Rage in his heart. But that rage turned into sorrow and pain and then realization. His mom was right. How is he supposed to fight villains if he doesn't have a quirk? No power of his own. He can't be a hero like All Might. The boy just cried himself to sleep. There was no point trying to escape the obvious, escape the inevitable. The next day, Izuku would find all of his hero stuff, everything, to his All Might posters, to his All Might onesies, even down to the All Might figurines, all being sold for better. And Izuku just found it all so painful. His heart raked every time he saw somebody take it, a child take it. His heart broke. A piece of him died. Izuku felt it. His heart was breaking. There was nothing he could do. His quirklessness did this to him. His powerless life. And this is just the beginning. How did he last in a world that doesn't give a damn for him? Not long after all of it was sold, his own father, yet he didn't know, took his 2 siblings over him. Then he proceeds to keep them at America until their high school years, till they were returned back to their family. This was not meant to be. Things were supposed to be so much better, but yet his life is hell. What do you say to someone who has no hope? 15 years, time skip. As Izuku would write in his notebook, it was just a normal day, like any other day. Just hell on earth. It was not like there was anything else he could do. What do you want him to say? I want him to say that he could be a hero. He still watches the heroes, no matter what. Heroes are always his thing. No matter what his mother said. Even though he got grounded for it. Even having any hero stuff in his house, he hid it. Hid it from his mom completely. Going through the hero app on his phone, simply seeing all the fights. The recent fight with Cammy Woods and Mount Lady's new entry in the Hero Society. Izuku would sigh. So close to that day. So close until everyone else gets to start their own journeys. Their own goals. Looking towards his classmates, seeing not long. They just had a roster to what they were going to do in their lives past this day. Most of them are going to become pro heroes, no doubt about that. Some might not even make it to the top 500. There's so many heroes in the world. But one kid did. Izuku knew what one kid did. He knew that one kid would make it to the top 10. He knew it. Katsuki Bakugo. The guy was something else. He was arrogant, cocky. He was more than cocky. He was just downright rude. But yet Izuku knew that his undenying will, his passion for being a pro hero, his desires, and his quirk would just get him up there. Yet his attitude might not be the best. He knew his quirk is just flashy enough. Just powerful and flashy enough to get him up there. Who wouldn't want to have an explosion quirk? Powerful and flashy. He would probably have the same attitude if he had a quirk. Probably. But yeah, he's a helpless deku, as usual. So with this, the teacher would say, there's gonna be some evidence. And also, as the teacher would say, I would also stay away from the nearby sign. science facility because some reports of stolen were saw were told there. So if you're going anywhere near the science place, do not go there now. Not a good time. The students will simply just shrugged it off. Their teachers simply said, no matter what, Zuko would sigh as usual. His life was not good. As simply the teacher continues to lecture. In another part of Mustafa, simply facility going on. As a young man who was a bit scrawny and malnourished, with hands all over his body, with bluish hair, pale blue hair, with red eyes, simply look along with another man in a tux, sitting by his side. The man looked like he was made out of shadows itself, with his glowing yellow eyes. And simply the man was named Tomura. As simply the young man would turn towards, Korigiri, what are you doing? I'm here because our super serum, the samples are ready. This is when the man would simply smile under the hand mask that he was wearing. That's great. Just in progress. Master was right. As he would pick up a large jar of black liquid, dark as the night. Once these are inputted into the Nomus, they'll be unstoppable. And once they're perfected, this will be able to take on All Might himself. Simply, this is when Korigi would say, this serum, yes, this has many quirks. At least over 20 within it. 20 quirks at least. Speed quirks, agility, strength, durability. This has stockpiling power as well. Speed. Very good for our Nomus. Strength. And also a bit of regeneration also. This also has a specific quirk within. Super durability. A shockwave quirk to absorb All Might's fierce blows. And once this will be able to put into the Nomus, they'll be unstoppable. And what if this was put into a human? Shigaraki was simply look. They'll die, as he simply smiled. They'll probably have the power for a week at least. But, as Shigaraki simply says, they won't survive for very long. What about an insect? Shigaraki would think about it as looking to see a medium-sized spider, as it'll be crawling, medium-sized, as he would open the jar, simply picking up the spider without any fear of being bitten. Well, let's see. As he dropped it in there, as they would watch it as it would simply splatter around, trying to splatter around within it. The spider would try to move, trying to make its way out of the pompous liquid, but it would go limp. Shigaraki would pull it out, throwing it to the side. Well, as you see, pretty much demonstrated. Well, as Tomura simply closed the jar, well then, Let's go, Korigiri. Our business here is done. Master needs us back at the base. As a portal to open, out of the viscous black energy of Korigiri as the two disappear, vanishing. But unknown to them, the spider would twitch, coming back to life, as it would flip over, as its color scheme would change. Just slightly, but growing in size just a bit, as it would crawling out into an air vent, leaving. What they didn't know, they set up a chain event, set up an event that could change someone's life forever. And this would eventually bring their biggest enemy. Back in Tafu, somewhere later, Izuku met his idol. Well, I guess it was right about don't meet your idols, because man, that was terrible. All Might told him he couldn't be a hero. Yet, what's the point? What could he do? There was nothing he could really do. The pros wouldn't know. There was nothing he could. Even All Might, the symbol of peace, told him that he didn't have a shot. Straight up. What was he supposed to do? He should really give up. As stopping turning, see a crowd of people along with hearing some sounds in the background. It was probably some pros taking on some villains. This would actually cheer him up for maybe a bit. Izuku would head forward, and walking a bit for a few seconds. He would stand near a couple people as simply they were to talk, saying how there was some middle schooler taken hostage by some sludge villain. Izuku would be shocked and horrified hearing this. The same sludge villain escaped All Might? No, there's no way. He probably had dropped the bottle when I latched onto him. It's all my fault. I should do something about this. As something he would feel pain in the back of his head. As then a feeling would just come over him. And he knew that, what's the point? I was just told not to by God himself. How? Izuku knew that was God telling him, don't even bother. Izuku would simply walk up just to see if things are being handled, but stop with see in shock. The sludge villain having a person familiar with red eyes and ash blonde hair. Izuku only saw one thing, Kachan. And without even knowing, he started moving on his own. His legs started moving. And he threw his bag at the villain, hitting the villain in the eye. Immediately, as the sludge villain was simply go extending an explosion towards the boy. And without knowing, or some force just took over, he just jumped in the air. What the hell? He could have jumped this high before. As his descent started to come closer and closer, he started to dodge the sludge villain in mid-air, as surprisingly kicking him in the eye. This would have made sense as the villain spurting back, grabbing onto Kachan and just going with it. As he would jump back, Koski would be pulled out, shocked. How did this nerd pull him out and save him from a villain? The two boys would be shocked, just stunned. Izuku would look at his hands strangely. What was that? Was that a fluke? Did I unlock my as, without even knowing, some ring fell in his head, as immediately he would dodge, pulling Koski down with him, as the villains would rage as he would say, you brat! You took my flesh suit. Now, I'm gonna deal with you personally. You got in my way for the last time. I'm gonna kill you this time. And I'll make sure of it. As the villain would go in for the kill, as a hulking figure would reappear above them, as All Might will be there, as All Might will say, I am really empathetic. As a symbol of peace will simply look as saying, I couldn't even use my own words. Well then, villain, your treachery of reign of error ends here. As clenching his fist, Detroit smash, sending a gust of air, of pure concentrated air. You know the deal. This will send the villains flying back and changing the whole bloody weather around. Everyone will see the pure power of All Might, as the man would stand with his fists raised up, as it would sprinkle. Not long, everyone will be okay. Izuku being told and being admonished that what he did was reckless. And yet again, he felt it. Everything was just not going his way. Izuku would simply just walk. After Koski was being praised, not long Koski found him and told him that he didn't need his stupid help. Izuku would understand. Koski probably didn't need his help. Walking back as simply as All Might would reappear in front of him. All Might, as Izuku said in a very depressed tone, what are you doing here? As All Might would immediately deflate back to his true state. As the All Might would simply say, young man, what you showed today, I was just surprised. You were amazing. I was wrong about you. You truly deserve to be a hero. Izuku had a bit of hope, but then it was dashed by a feeling of sickness. And he knew that this was something about this day was just not getting any better. And Izuku was simply saying, that's nice. And the first thing that came to mind was just getting home. I see what sigh, but I'm done. I'm done with being a hero. All I was trying to hear this is saying he would probably start with gave his offer of one for all, but the look in the boy's eyes just said it's over. All Might felt ashamed. As the boy would walk past him droopily, as he would stumble on his way back to his house. All Might felt ashamed. He destroyed this young man's dream, this chance. All Might saw a successor in the boy, but the hope, the fire in his eyes just died. It was just gone. The boy just didn't have anything left to keep that fire burning. He was just done. What else could he do? Once Izuku got home, he simply closed the door and made his way to his room. What could he do? He knew his mother wasn't home at the time, so he just crashed as he felt it, as hitting the pillow immediately, as sleep would overtake and everything would be dark. Yet again, his life just not the best. As a nightmare, Izuku experienced a nightmare of over and over. Darkness. All he saw was a shadow. He looked at the shadow. It mimicked him. It was dark, solid. It looked smooth. Izuku outstretched his hand towards it, and so did it. and they touched hands for a second, and he felt a rush. Opening his eyes immediately, Zuko sweat. What the hell? What was that? Zuko would breathe, panting, as rubbing his forehead as off the sweat of his brow, simply heading towards his bathroom. As heading inside his bathroom, he would turn on the lights, and what he saw in the mirror shocked him to the core. What was this? Looking at himself, he saw he was toned. He had a body of an athletic swimmer or Olympic runner. His body was lean, strong. He didn't have any big bulky muscles like All Might or Endeavor, but they were still noticeable there. He was averagely like a decent size, like near Cammy Woods' type of body strength, body build, or even Kachan's, similar to Bakugo's in general. But he saw it. He had abs, a six-pack, and it was just so developed. He touched it as looking at it. What the hell? He'd wonder, when did this all happen? As simply looking at his hands, seeing that there were some weird tubes. With his index and his ring finger, he touched them, pressing them forward as what came out of them was splat. Looking towards his mirror, seeing it was some fluid-like sticky stuff. Not in that way, but Zuko touched it. And he touched it, it was sticky, as immediately it would harden like a web. Zuko would immediately tear off the web from his mirror as going back in his room, he would see it was like on the other arm, doing the same thing as he did earlier, just a moment ago. He would see there's a whole line as he would shoot at his bed. His bed head as simply was attached. Seeing the web would attach as after removing his index and ring finger, he would hear it. It was like a slight click. And he felt it. The web was not connected to his wrist anymore. It was wet, sticky, but then it hardened as he would pull on it. It was strong. Whatever this material was extremely strong. Zuko pulled on it for a couple of tugs. He immediately ripped off the web as simply throwing it to his trash. Zuko would come down to one thing. He had a quirk. But he's quirkless. As he would scratch the back of his head. But he would feel something like going to his bathroom again, turning to see on his back a little bite mark on his back of his neck. The one thing came to his mind. Only that kind of mark would be from a spider. But yet, webbing. Zuko put his hand on the nearby wall. As he would go to remove it, his hand was stuck, having trouble pulling his hand off. So he would, as finally it would unstick. One thing came to his mind. A spider gave him powers? As Zuko started to be going to his computer, typing in animals that give people quirks, nothing came up. As he would type, this would go on through the early morning until early to late morning. It was a Saturday at least. That was nice. Inko would walk in as simply looking at her son is shocked. And Zuko would only look at his mother. As he would be on the ceiling, Inko would only start to immediately she was just aghast. He was on the ceiling, literally. But what shocked her the most was his body. Something rushed through her. It was a weird feeling. She knew the feeling. No, no, no. Don't. Zuko would flip on back to his lower arm, back on the ground, as his hand was hooked to the wall, as simply saying, "Hi, Mom." She was shocked. What she saw was not her son. Was that her son? That shouldn't be possible. He was quirkless. But yet her own child had a body of an athlete with muscles, and as her mind started to drift to other places, immediately she shook her head as saying, "No." What happened to you? As she would simply say. Izuku would say, puberty. And you have a quirk? As Inko simply says, I guess. Late bloomer? Inko say, "We're going to get registered." But, I don't know. Maybe a bit later, as Izuku says. Inko would understand her son's hesitance as simply saying, "Alright, your sisters will be coming in a few weeks by now. In a few weeks." Izuku would understand his nod. Understandable, Izuku says. "I'm gonna go get dressed." After eating his breakfast, Izuku would head out to the city in Mitsutafu. After walking a bit, he would take an alleyway and immediately look at his hands. So, putting on his hoodie so no one would see his face, immediately stick his hand to the wall. As he would test this, as he would crawl all the way to the top of the building, make his way to the rooftop, as simply looking, holy crap, this was at least a 2 to 3-story building. Looking toward the other building, of 4 to 5-story buildings nearby, he would simply think about one thing. Looking at his hands where the little tubes were, one thing would come to his mind. Could he? So he would. As he did so, he shot a web line. It would go. It would be in the air for a few seconds, as attaching itself to the other building. As he felt the same feeling that it would harden immediately, knowing. But one thing that come to him, could this actually hold his weight? And he hoped that he, actually could do this. All you gotta do is don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look. Okay, he looked down. Seeing how high he was, okay, don't look down. Don't look down. One thing came to his mind. Alright. As remembering one of the things that his father always said to him when he's going to do new things. A leap of faith. Leap of faith, alright. Leap of faith. As immediately taking one foot off of the ledge and letting his body lean forward on the web. As immediately he felt he had no ground support. As immediately he'd open his eyes, seeing that he was swinging towards the other side of the building. Using his other hand away from the web, shooting another web line as he'd be stuck in the middle of, that middle of the road, as letting go of the other web line, as he would swing. And doing it again, swing. People look up to see him, somebody swinging, using a quirk. Holy crap, this is awesome. As he would pick up just a bit of speed, swinging as he would see some skyscrapers as using those swing upon, as swinging, as he would lift himself up, as he would land upon the building. Thought came to mind. He's not wearing any face protection. People were pointing at him as he would jump off the building as doing doing a couple air tricks in the air as somehow his body just felt so natural doing this, as shooting another web line as swinging off of it into an alleyway nearby, as falling, as landing on his feet perfectly fine from 5 stories. Holy crap! Zuko look at himself as Zuko made his way and started to walk back to his house. That was awesome. One thought came to mind. He could try this out. So he has powers, so he can swing off buildings. He can climb walls. He went to a nearby dumpster, as picking up the dumpster easily, as he did way more than he thought. But he knew the dumpster weighed a lot more than, or at least almost the size weight of a normal car. After lifting it up with ease, holy crap! This was so easy to lift, and he's only doing it with one hand. So he has strength quirk. As he started to run, as running, he would run faster than he ever thought he was running before. As he would jump over some straight crosswalks, as he would just look at himself. This was awesome. As he smiled, one thing hit his mind. Look, he could actually become a hero, a pro. And stopping as he arrived back at his house, the sudden thought came to mind. How can he become a pro? Does this even register as a quirk? As you could wonder, does he have a quirk, or does he just have unknown powers from a spider? Izuku so decided to take that quirk, see if he has a quirk now, as simply they would do so. So Inko will make an appointment on next Monday, as simply they would do just that. Going to another quirk doctor, simply they would see, he would simply say, your son shouldn't even have a quirk to begin with, but yet he does. There's still a second joint there, but I guess you just diagnosed him as having a quirk. What do you want to call it? Because there's other people that have like the exact same quirk as you do. Spiders, he says. As he said that was all. The strength and super strength. Yeah, the super strength, Zuko says. Do you know anyone who else has, spider-like abilities? There's a lot of people that have spider-like abilities. Some people can climb. Some could produce webbing. Oh, how do they produce? Do they produce it like their body produces, or do they have like a gadget to do that? People who produce it on their own, their webbing are not well filtered. Their webbing can be easily broken by an above average person. So if they become a hero with their webbing, if there's not at least filtered, it could be something bad for them. Oh, Zuko says, that makes sense. Thanks. As they would get his quirk down to super strength, Inko will look at her son, narrowing her eyes and saying, why'd you ask that question? And she simply says, I was just curious, Zuko says. You sure? Anything else about your quirk? No, nothing else. Just super strength. Inko's eyes would narrow, as wondering what her son was even doing. She has to keep an eye on him. So, as she'll say, you gonna be a pro hero? Izuku says, no. Even if I tried, I'll be a bit too late. I don't even understand my quirk. So if I even be a pro hero, it's a bit dangerous for me. Unlike Kachan, who's known his quirk for a long time, and he knows his limits and strengths and weaknesses. I, who just have looked at my quirk, that'll be dangerous. I can't learn all my limits and strengths and weaknesses just in a month, just in 10 months. That's a lot of time, but not a lot to know your quirk. So it's not worth it. It just says, and go on, understand the thing. That's good. At least you know that any chance you have is pretty much no shot. Izuku would feel well of pain in his heart, but he'd only know that his mother was trying to do the best for him. As they would arrive home, unlocking the apartment, I simply think they would understand as nod. Izuku would head to his room as simply locking the door, as he would decide. So if I'm gonna be a hero, I can't be a hero. No doubt about that. I just have a strength quirk, but no. But there's other people who have spider quirks. But yet, I can't do it now, because now my quirk is just strength. So this means I have to hide it. To hide the rest of my abilities. But I do want to be a pro hero. I want to save people. But I know my mom will never give me the chance. What I said was right in the car. I just can't just go out and figure this out. I don't have enough time. And Kachan, even though he probably uses quirk for combat, he probably trained with it. I, who haven't trained a day in my life, doesn't even know how to throw a punch. So how am I supposed to train with my quirk? Looking at his hands, simply the one thought would come to his mind. Vigilante? Vigilante. It was illegal, but it was the best thing he had. Maybe he doesn't need to be a pro hero to earn a name. Probably better than what the path he wants to go down. So, just go with the flow. But one thing he knew, he had to do something about his outfit. He couldn't go in his civilian clothes, because one thing he didn't know, if he did and get recorded by somebody, his mom would see him. So he needed something good. So he started searching up things on the web. Anything. Looking for things as simply searching for things, many things that were, useful. Resistance. One thing came to mind, spandex, like All Might. But yet, what would he do? Looking at it, simply seeing, well, that's spandex. But does he want to wear an all spandex suit? What's the worst that can happen? There was just spandex suit that was lean. It was actually meant for some space thing, but they were not. But ever since there was canceled, space was canceled since quirks. Their tech was updated, but the suits were always updated. Izuku bought this simply because it was aerodynamic, long with bullet resistance. This was good enough. Izuku also bought some web filter shooters, or basically web shooters that were filters. They were small, not big, but small. The next thing he bought was some things that could be. But what color would he want the spandex in? He thought something. Red. No. Green? As much as the green will look good in spandex, he looked good in green, but what's the point? Everything that he wears is green. That would be too. And, well, his favorite color is green. That stands out too much. His mother probably would know. Izuku would look as simply seeing All Might. Once he kept one shirt of All Might, but it was only a red and blue that had All Might written on it. That was the only thing his mom let him keep. One All Might shirt. Then it came to him like a star. Red and blue. There's so many heroes that had red and blue. That was perfect. immediately putting the red and blue spandex that decks. He would order it immediately, with the same resistance, aerodynamic, and wind and bulletproof resistance. And it all came in about a week and a half. 2 to 3 weeks and a half. Damn it! Alright, if you needed this, Izuku was simply low, as he would search up for some things that were useful. As the next thing he could look up is some lining. Some things that would be good. Finding some lenses. They were actually pretty good. They were just any lenses. They were pretty good lenses. You can shape them any way you want. Perfect. He bought a bunch of these. They were actually just completely white. He can see through the one side of the lens, but no one can see his face from the other side. Amazing. Great. He bought all these materials. After doing that, he was set. Now to wait 3 weeks. This is gonna put a dampen his allowance. Maybe we should get a job. But where? Enough money. Izuku will simply look as immediately knowing there was something about the Daily Bugle. They were hiring, so this is his chance. A good chance. Hey, why not? Yes, the boy will simply stretch his body, telling his mom that he's gonna go look for a job. This to get early pay. He can't always ask for money from her. She needs the money to pay the bills, so she would agree, giving him the okay. So doing just that, not long, he got the job. Even though he's a middle schooler. Time skipped 3 weeks later. Izuku waiting for his package, waiting for it to come any day. This was the last day that it could probably come. As the meeting heard the door by ring, he rushed for the door as Inko would be seeing that he was so impatient since these last 3 weeks. Opening the door, seeing that there was some people. Izuku questioned people like, huh? Who are you? Inko walked through the door saying, oh. Seeing 3 people at the door. One black-haired girl that had black hair and green eyes. Mom asked what the black-haired girl would simply hug Inko as Izuku turned towards her. What the hell? Another girl who looked like a carbon copy of his mother. What's going on? The hell? And a man right beside him, right behind him, as simply saying Sashi as the two would only look, as she would hug him gently. Izuku looked at the man saying, oh, so that's Dad. Izuku, as the man said, he had black shaggy hair like Izuku. Izuku looked a carbon copy of him, except he just had green hair of black shadows. Hi. As Izuku was immediately see what another person would come in with his package. Izuku Midoriya. Yeah, thank you. As Izuku grabbed the many packages, as he'll be listening to them all, as saying, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Here's your check. Thank you. Bye. As closing the door immediately, Izuku make his way to his room quickly. Inko was saying, are you? What are those? Izuku would stop immediately, saying, things for the bugle. Inko's eyes were narrow, saying, can I see? No. I got it. It's fine. I just got the things for the bugle. It's gonna be my first day very soon, so I gotta be prepared. Izuku smiled. You'll understand later on. As immediately closing his door and shutting it closed and locking it. Tashi would simply wonder, is that how he's always been? She would simply sigh. Yes, that's how he's always been. Ever since he was diagnosed as quirkless. But you heard the news. Yeah, it's a late bloomer. You 2 girls who want to go to the UA? As Inko simply says to her daughters. What do you think, Mom? Asked the green-haired girl, the greener copy of her would simply say, all right, my, don't have to be so rude about it. The girl smiled as the black-haired girl would simply say, it was easy doing his own things, Izumi. Now you all get ready. Get settled down and be preparing dinner. Izuku was simply starting to put things together, immediately cutting out what he needed, putting out the lenses, and starting to fix what he needed. Over the few hours as he'd be doing what he needed to do, as he would finish up, it was done. It was beautiful, glorious. After putting in the last lens, seeing the red and blue costume, it was red and blue vigilante costume. It was beautiful. It was a red and blue spandex suit, having a large spider logo on the chest, along with black webbing patterns all over the suit, with big white lenses with an outer edge of black on it, with another logo for spider on the back. The emblem was beautiful, large and big, probably the same size as a tarantula. He smiled at it, seeing that his work was complete. I feel so satisfied. As putting the rest of the stash of the other spandex suits under his bed, he'll put this to the test later on. Inko would knock on his door, saying, dinner's ready. I've been calling you recently, but you're not answering. As she'd open the door, using the extra key that she had, Izuku and me throw the spandex under his bed. Yeah, I'm on my way. He'll smile. I just finished what I needed to get done. Now, I'll be there in a few minutes, as he was put his hand on his mother's shoulders, turning her around gently, placed his hand on her waist as saying, now just let me finish up what I'm doing, and I'll be out. As he'll kiss his mother's head gently as saying, alright, bye, as closing the door, as it'll slam with close, locking once again. She'll blush at the kiss that she felt. What is up with me these days? As she'll walk back to her, the rest of the family. It's been strange. Izuku was breathing silently. Whew, that was close. Looking towards his costume and smiling. Now, very soon, I'll be putting you to the test. Izuku simply look around but maybe a bit later. As hiding it back underneath, as heading back towards cooking dinner. After eating dinner, everyone was in their bed. He only knew that his mother and father were in the master bedroom, which made it very uncomfortable, with his siblings being in the spare together. Locking his door, simply turning off the lights, he would simply looking at his suit. A thought would come to mind. As looking out the window, he would wonder, should he? It's a bit late, but what's the worst that can happen? So putting on the spandex suit is first putting on the main body, putting on the boots, then the gloves with the web shooter filters, and putting on the mask. These masks were able to see in the dark, as they had as the night vision would turn on. It'll be a bright green in color. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. As it would all fade to the normal colors, the normal surroundings of his room. Turning towards opening his window very gently, as crawling his way out the window and locking it. It's looking to see that his mother's and father's room as well, just right next to his, as then jumping off the building completely, As after jumping off the building, he landed on another building nearby. Nearby, as if the wall, as if the rooftop jump from each building, from two buildings. As after jumping off the other rooftop building, as swinging a web line towards a nearby 3-story building. As swinging off of it, it was glorious.